Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ikea. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. You are definitely a real one. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and my first impression on the new KKW slash Jeff Leatham #2 collaboration. So this is KKW Fragrance's second collaboration with Jeff Leatham. And if you're unfamiliar with who he is a celebrity florist. He creates these beautiful, intricate floral designs, and he's well known throughout the celebrity community. So they collaborated last year to create 3 fragrances, and this is the second collaboration. They have 3 new fragrances, and I thought that I would share my thoughts on them. I actually haven't done a KKW fragrance first impression in a while, so I thought it would be fun to share my thoughts on this collection. I've also been very intrigued about some of these fragrances based off of the notes that I read. So again, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on this new collection. If that's something that you're interested in, then keep on watching. And before we get started, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, of course. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and do not forget to click on that notification bell so you do not miss out on a single video. Alright y'all, so I have with me the brand new collection from KKW Fragrance, which is in collaboration with Jeff Leatham. As I mentioned before, this is their second collaboration, and I have all 3 fragrances with me. Now, I am going to be doing a first impression. I actually just received this package. I'm going to be sharing the notes with you. I'm also going to be letting you know if I think that any of the fragrances are blind buy worthy, and then I'll be letting you know if I love the fragrances, if it's a meh, dislike, or if it's something that I really truly need to continue to play around with. So let's get into the video. So all of the fragrances come in a beautiful box like this. And I absolutely love the packaging of these fragrances, from the box even down to the bottle. I think they did an amazing job on the packaging, but I really love the box. It opens up like this, which is super cute, and then the fragrance is in the middle. The fragrance itself is so cute. It comes in this little vase, which is so perfect, and it goes really well with the collaboration because this is centered around florals. Now, it is said that you can actually put some flowers in this little vase. I tried to do that, y'all, and you really need to put like the smallest of smallest little flower in here if you really want it to stay. There's not enough room for you to hold like a huge flower in here, but this is still really cute. It's a really cute and unique idea. And then this is actually plastic. Someone had asked me before if this was glass. It is not, and initially I thought it was ceramic, but no, it's plastic, but it is pretty heavy. The top is pretty heavy as well as the bottom. So a little bit about the fragrances. Each of the fragrances in this collaboration are $40 each, and they are all 1 fluid ounce. And then if you buy them as a trio, it is $110. So that's pretty much in line with most of the other KKW fragrances. So there are 3 fragrances in this collaboration. We have Rare Fig, there's Caramel, Orchid, and then we also have Iconic Gardenia. So I'm going to be starting off with my review on Rare Fig. So in the opening of Rare Fig, there is blood orange, mandarin, as well as lemon. In the heart, there's geranium oil, as well as greenhouse air accord. And then in the dry down or the base, there's vetiver, cedarwood, and dried fig. So I'm just going to spray this on my tester strip first, and then I'll spray it on my skin to see if the same notes kind of stand out on my skin as they do on the tester strip. Okay. So right off the bat, I definitely smell that blood orange, the mandarin, and the lemon. The opening is pretty much citrus, as it mentions in the notes. And it's a little green too as it dries down. I'm assuming it's that greenhouse air note. Now, as it's drying down a little bit more, it's starting to become a little bit jammy, even like a little syrupy. I'm assuming it's that fig note. I'm not like getting a ton of cedarwood in here, and I can kind of smell a little bit of vetiver. It's a tad bit smoky in the dry down, but mainly what I smell in that dry down is fig. So I'm going to spray this on the back of my hand just to see what kind of notes stand out to me on my skin. Yep, so again, in that opening, even on my skin, I'm definitely smelling the blood orange, and I'm also smelling the mandarin and the lemon. I really like the opening of this fragrance. It's really beautiful. The opening kind of gives me the same vibes as Bal d'Afrique from Byredo, how it has that citrus kick in there. That's kind of what this is giving me. Yeah, and then once it dries down, it gets a tad bit green. I'm not smelling a ton of that greenhouse air, but it gets a little green as it starts to dry down. And mainly in the dry down though, it becomes this fig note, and it's kind of just a little jammy. So to me, the fig is like overpowering the rest of the fragrance. Like I said, I really enjoy that opening with the citrus. And I'm actually not a huge fan of citrus, but that opening is actually really beautiful. I do like blood orange, so maybe that's why I'm really enjoying it. But as it's drying down, the fig is really like taking over the fragrance. It's just becoming a more syrupy fragrance. And again, I'm still not smelling the cedar wood, and I get a little bit of vetiver, not a ton. Okay, so my thoughts on Rare Fig. I enjoy the opening of this fragrance. As it dries down though, I'm starting to enjoy it less. I think it's just a little too jammy and a little too syrupy for me. That fig, I think could have been blended a little bit better. It's just a little too syrupy in my opinion, but this opening is really, really beautiful. So far this is a like for me. I'm definitely gonna have to play around with this one a little bit more, maybe even layer it to see if this is something that I would wear long term. But yeah, it's a like for me right now because of that opening. I really do like that part. I will say, I think that this is a unisex scent though. I'm thinking that it actually leans pretty much in the middle. It's not super masculine or super feminine. I definitely think it leans in the middle, and I would actually recommend this as a blind buy. For me, it's just a little jammy, but if you like sweet, syrupy kind of fragrances that blend really nicely with citrus notes, then I think that this would be something that you may enjoy. Now, I know some people kind of don't really gravitate towards vetiver, and again, I don't really smell a ton of vetiver in here. It's not like super smoky. So if you're not a fan of vetiver, but you still like some of the other notes in this fragrance, then I would still consider checking it out, because to me, the vetiver isn't really prominent. It's more of the fig that's prominent, and it doesn't really take over the fragrance, and it's not super smoky. So again, I would recommend this one as a blind buy, but so far it's just a like for me. I'm not madly in love with it. So we're gonna go on to the next fragrance, which is Iconic Gardenia. And in this fragrance, in the top notes, there's honeysuckle, mandarin, and orange blossom. In the mid, there's gardenia. There's also some tuberose and jasmine. And then in the base, we have vanilla orchid, tonka bean, and sandalwood. Okay, I'm gonna spray this one on the strip as well. Ooh, this one is really beautiful, y'all. This is really beautiful. Yes. I really like this one. It is a beautiful floral fragrance. Wow, this is really beautiful, y'all. I'm definitely getting those citrus notes in the opening, the honeysuckle, that mandarin, and even the orange blossom. The orange blossom is standing out to me a little bit more in the opening. Oh yes, and then that tuberose. Y'all, I am a very picky person when it comes to tuberose. I don't like tuberose that takes over the life of a fragrance. The tuberose in here is done really nicely. It's creamy. It meshes really, really well with the jasmine in here. Oh wow, it's really beautiful. And then as it dries down, it becomes a little bit more sweet. You can definitely smell the vanilla orchid in here and the tonka bean. I'm not smelling a ton of woody notes. Like, I'm not really smelling that sandalwood though. This is really beautiful. I'm gonna spray it on my skin. Ooh. Yes, that opening of the mandarin and the orange blossom is so beautiful, and that honeysuckle. I am starting to think that the perfect warm floral combination is tuberose, jasmine, and orange blossom. I just feel like lately when I find a fragrance that has those three notes in it and it's a warm floral, I really gravitate towards that. Like that's what is in here and it smells absolutely beautiful. Mm, mm-mm-mm. I really enjoy this fragrance. That honeysuckle is actually staying throughout the life of the fragrance. Even as it's drying down, you still get that kick of honeysuckle and a little bit of that mandarin as well. But again, I like this because the tuberose doesn't take over the entire fragrance. That was my gripe about Desert Rose. I thought the tuberose was just a little too heavy and a little too cloying. This is creamy, it's there, but you can definitely smell the combination of the other notes as well. Wow, this is absolutely beautiful. You know, this fragrance actually is giving me similar vibes to Giorgio Armani's My Way Intense. And if you're familiar with that one, that also has orange blossom in it. There's also some blood orange in that fragrance, as well as tuberose and jasmine. So that's why I'm thinking that kind of combination in warm florals is something that I gravitate towards and something that I really like. I think it just kind of helps to make the tuberose a little bit more creamy when those combinations are mixed together. But this fragrance, I really do enjoy. So this is Iconic Gardenia. And so far, I really like this fragrance. I definitely think that this is blind buy worthy, especially if you like warm florals and if you're a fan of tuberose. To me, I think this is giving me similar vibes to My Way Intense from Giorgio Armani or even Rouge Malachite from Giorgio Armani. Just the creaminess of that tuberose is why I'm getting those similar vibes. But this is absolutely beautiful. I think this is a love for me. I again think that this is blind buy worthy. And to me, this leans feminine. This one to me is not a unisex scent. It definitely leans more feminine, but I am in love. So far, I really like this one a lot. I cannot wait to wear this. Okay, so the last fragrance in this collection is Caramel Orchid, and I'm going to read the notes off. So in here, in the top note, there is Cocoa Absolute. There's also some salted caramel and Divana. In the mid, there's Ylang Absolute. There's also some blue heliotrope and jasmine. And then in the dry down, there's vanilla tincture, there's cashmere woods, and musks. So I'll be honest, before I even sprayed this one, this is the one that I was the most interested in. When I looked at those notes, I was just like, oh my gosh, this smells like it's going to be absolutely delicious. So we shall see. Okay. So this is different. This is different than what I expected. I will be honest. Okay. It smells good, but it's not what I was expecting. To me, this smells like a blueberry pie with some like caramel drizzle on it. Like the caramel's there, but it's not like the main note, I guess I'm trying to say. Huh. I mostly smell blue heliotrope. That's what I'm smelling. And a little bit of caramel, a little bit of salty caramel. I'll be honest, this is just different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be like a sweet, delicious dessert kind of gourmand, which, I mean, it does kind of smell like a blueberry pie, but I thought it was going to be more on the caramel side. To me, the blue heliotrope is really what's like taking over this fragrance. Okay, so I'm going to spray this one on my arm. Okay, so as I'm spraying it on my skin, I can definitely smell that cocoa on my skin. Now on the paper, I couldn't really smell the cocoa, but I definitely smell that now, and I can still smell the salted caramel. But that heliotrope, the blue heliotrope, that is really what is the main note of this fragrance. I feel like this should have been called Blue Heliotrope Orchid or something. because the salted caramel to me is like kind of faint. It's not the main, to me, it's not the main note of this fragrance. Hmm. Now, as it's drying down, that musk starts to kick in and it also becomes a little bit warmer, but that heliotrope is still there. And I'll be quite honest, I don't smell a ton of jasmine in here. I'm getting a ton of blue heliotrope, a little bit of that cocoa, some salted caramel, and a little bit of the musks. I don't smell a ton of jasmine though. Okay, y'all, so for my thoughts on Caramel Orchid, to me, this fragrance is not what I expected, and that's okay, but I'm not a huge fan of it, honestly. I just wanted it to be like a sweet caramel chocolatey fragrance, and it's giving me more like blueberry pie. This is also a little medicinal to me as well. To me, this fragrance is giving me similar vibes to New York Nights from Bond Number 9, which I actually really love Bond Number 9's New York Nights, and it's giving me similar vibes with the caramel. However, the blue heliotrope is really taking over this fragrance, and I was just kind of hoping that the caramel would take over. I was hoping that this would be a really sweet, delicious gourmand fragrance, and it is a gourmand, but it's just not delicious to me. So this is a fragrance that, again, I don't love it. I don't even know if I really like this one just yet. I'll definitely have to play around with it. I do feel like this is a unisex scent. It's right in the middle. It doesn't leave super feminine or masculine. I do feel like it is right in the middle. I'm just kind of sad because this is the one that I really was like excited about, and I don't know how I feel about this one. All right, y'all, so here are my overall thoughts on this collection. I'm not a huge fan of everything in the collection, but I will say I do feel like all of the fragrances are blind buy worthy. There's nothing super unique or like a crazy unique note in any of these fragrances that I would think that I would say, no, you might want to hold off on that, or you want to maybe get your nose on it before you purchase it. I do think that these are all blind buy worthy fragrances. Two of them I do believe are unisex, and one of them I actually think leans a little bit more feminine versus masculine, but I just feel like this collection was okay for me. I definitely want to just continue to play around with these fragrances because whenever I come back to fragrances, sometimes I may change my mind. So I'm definitely going to play around with them. But as far as my first impression goes, some of them were alike and one of them was an actual love. So if I had to rank all three of the fragrances from my least favorite to my absolute favorite thus far, I would say that my least favorite is Caramel Orchid. For me, I was just expecting it to be a little bit more caramel, cocoa-y, and that's okay if that is not my expectations. But for me, it's just the blue heliotrope is just taking over the fragrance, and I don't really necessarily love it. And then number two, I would say, is Rare Fig. I really enjoy the opening of this fragrance. Those citrus notes really are beautiful, but then when it dries down, it just becomes a little too syrupy and a little too jammy for my preference. But again, I do enjoy the opening of this fragrance. It's absolutely beautiful. And then I would definitely say my favorite of this collection is Iconic Gardenia. This is a really, really beautiful tuberose, jasmine, orange blossom, citrus fragrance, and I love this a lot. I feel like this is actually, to me, when you smell this, you think it'll actually cost more than what it does. This, again, gives me similar vibes to Giorgio Armani's My Way Intense and Rouge Malachite. The tuberose is really beautiful in here. It's really creamy. This is such a gorgeous, feminine, sexy fragrance, and I cannot wait to wear this one all the time. So yes, this one is definitely my number one fragrance of the collaboration thus far. All right, y'all, so those are my thoughts on the new collaboration with KKW Fragrances and Jeff Leatham. Comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. Do you have one that's on your wish list, or is there a favorite that you currently have in this collection? Let me know down below. As always, I thank y'all so much for watching this video. video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And don't forget to check me out on social media. My Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok will be linked down below in the description box. And as always, I hope you all have a great one. Stay safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.